my friend, your friend, the guy that we all lean on when it comes to our insurance needs. Jimmy D, my man over there turning some audio down. Thank you very much. There's Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno. All right, nice to see you, buddy. You too. At Keller Williams Innovations, you'll find the Florida Home Pros team. And my guy, Jimmy D. Jim DePola, how you be?
Thank you, Johnny. I'm doing very well. I have no excuse for all my technological difficulties. I'm on every week.
Nice. It was there for the taking.
I'm just, that's me. I'm so glad to have you back, Johnny. I was Jimmy D last week, and I always rather have Johnny C than Jimmy D running the show. That's for sure.
I know
so
you held it down.
Thank you for coming back. I'm glad that you had such a great fun vacation time, and I hope you're enjoying life back to normal again.
I'm glad I have a little bit of voice to share with you today.
Oh, me too. I am very glad about that. So thank you.
At the start of the week, it was not the case.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
You can always whisper. Welcome to Florida Talk Real Estate. It'll be a secret.
Oh, what do they call that? ASMR or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do an ASMR show. How about that?
Oh, perfect. We'll just tap on stuff.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. We have to have sounds. We have to have maybe like a key going into a lock or something and open up a door. The door open and shut, and we put those sounds in there.
Nice.
Waterfalls.
Water.
The rainforest.
Yeah.
The crinkling of a bag.
I see it on TikTok quite a bit.
We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be talking about a lot of homeowners insurance stuff. I'm so glad to have Ross back again. Because Ross, man, there's so much going on in the home insurance market. Changes to the flood insurance over time, and there are changes to the changes. When you're telling me, we've got the whole.
We already have changes to the changes.
Yes, we have changes to the changes.
Damn.
Yes.
See what happens when you go away for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
about 35 cents and change.
We're the government, and we're here to help you. So there's changes upon changes, and then we've got of course hurricane season's right on, right after this weekend, the start of it.
Yesterday in Lake Worth, I thought we were having a hurricane.
Oh my God. On Thursday, I was in a really, really bad storm. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, are we going to have like that tornado that hit Palm Beach Gardens when I was on the road?
Yeah. Well, the warnings were all popping off everywhere.
Oh, and the lightning strikes were so close to my car. You could feel it. You felt it in the car.
Sure.
Right. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. The storms have been pretty intense this summer.
Yeah,
have you noticed that, or is it just me?
No, I think everybody agrees. And I think, we all have that short-term memory kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like every summer we get these wild little flashy storms, but I do feel like they've been kind of crazy the last couple of weeks. Yeah,
certainly.
And that might be because of El Nino, which we'll talk a little bit about during hurricane season when we talk about insurance with Ross, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We're also going to be talking about 5 reasons why homeowners that I listed with this week just told me, Jim, sell my house right now.
5 reasons.
5,
One,
not just
2.
5 reasons. Actually, it's 3 reasons, but it's 5 people, and 2 of them had the same. Well, 2 of them had the same reasons, another 2 had the same reason, and then there was a 3rd reason. So it was 3 reasons, 5 homeowners. They all said, Jim, sell my house right now. We're going to talk about that because everybody's talking about we're in what I think it was Forbes magazine said we're in the real estate ice age in America, and we're going to talk about that a little bit because I thought it was on point. And and that's going to roll right into the ice age thing is going to roll right into the market stats came out this week. Okay, for April. We're going to focus on one county because it's a good example of things I've been trying to explain about statistics over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'll be a fun conversation to have. But first, let's go ahead and do the shout outs. If you don't mind, because we've had so many people to choose Florida Home Pros, that are my team over here at Keller Williams Innovations. And I'm really happy that some of these people were old customers that have worked with me multiple times. So I'm very grateful for the repeat business. And some are brand new people that are kind of brand new to me, but not brand new to the Florida Home Pros, because they listen to Florida Talk Real Estate all the time. And they say they feel like they know me,
Yeah, sure.
which is awesome. And what you get on the air is what you get when you meet me in person too. Good, bad, or indifferent. That's just the way it is.
That's it.
Everybody goes, you act just like on the radio. It's like, I'm not an actor. I don't know how to act. If
Yeah.
I try to act, it would actually be pretty comical. Maybe one time I'll come in and act one time.
Perfect. Let us know when you're going to do that. I'll try.
Yeah,
I'll
that'll be
I'll try
fun.
a character out too.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that
I
would be
want in.
awesome.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want in. All right,
that'll
cool.
be
That'll be a
awesome.
fun day.
Okay, yeah.
Start working on your character, Jimmy.
Yes, we should. Maybe we should go look at Marvel Comics and stuff and come up with alter super egos.
Why
Heroes for
don't
each of
I
us.
play realtor?
Yeah.
You play insurance, and you
Oh,
play.
That would be funny if you all switch
Mortgage.
roles.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
and
like
Mike
you
will
were
be Juno.
Jim,
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
Jim. I don't want to be Johnny, because when I'm
That'll
Jimmy,
be
I'm no
Mike.
good. Right. We'll have Mike be Johnny. Oh, that would be good, because Mike doesn't like being in the big chair at all. Anytime I can't be on the show, I always say, hey, Mike, why don't you just do the show with Johnny? You guys can handle it. Nah, don't want to do that.
Mike's so good at it, though.
I know Mike is excellent on the air.
Yeah.
Mike is having a fun time, vacation time this weekend.
Oh,
Happy.
you're talking about Mike Rao, the mortgage
Mike
guy
Rao,
from
the mortgage guy.
firm?
I'm
Yes.
sorry, Mike.
Mike.
And happy Memorial Day, everybody. I forgot it's Memorial Day, and I forgot to say that. So thank you.
Well, and obviously, we'll mention it a couple times this weekend. But when you do mention Memorial Day, I always like to focus on the reason. You know,
Yes.
it's not Veterans Day. It's not like Patriots Day, right? It's Memorial Day. But when it comes to our military, all give some give all. And Memorial Day is about remembering those that gave all to our great country. And it's not about sales or barbecues. And if you incorporate that into your weekend, awesome. But always remember the reason. Reserve some time to memorialize those that really deserve it.
And you know, I was reading a report. Johnny's talking about that. I was reading a news story, and they were talking about, not, of course, now I don't remember the name of the fort, Fort Bragg. Well, apparently Fort Bragg isn't really Fort Bragg, I think, and I might be getting the names wrong, okay? But it's actually called a different name, like a formal name, but everybody nicknamed it that, so everybody calls it that. And I was thinking, you know, my dad was a Korean War veteran, right? But didn't know much about the military growing up, and didn't have a lot of military in my family. So that's a whole subculture of the United States, and it's only like, I think, 2% of all the people in the United States are serve in the military, right? Of the total population. So it's just this whole subculture that's a backbone of our country in a way. And it gives us our status across the world. It gives us our security at home. And it's just pretty amazing. And we take it for granted so much. And you see all these wars that are happening overseas right now, and watching the devastation of just regular people that just want to live their lives, and they're being bombed out of their homes and everything, and losing so much. And we're so grateful to be where we are. So thank you so much. So yes, I believe the same thing, Johnny.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And remember, cling to all of the freedoms that they fought and gave the most for you to have.
Yes.
Cling to them with your life.
Yes, I totally agree with that. So happy Memorial Day, everybody.
Yes.
And so let's continue on with the happy thoughts. We're going to go into some of the shout outs. Hopefully my newest agent will be calling in any moment, Timothy.
Okay.
So if she
I'll keep an
calls
eye.
in, okay, I'm going to see if she's going to call in on time, because we have an open house today.
Oh.
Okay. So wanted to give a shout out to Jennifer and Jason. We talked a little bit about this last week, but we finally put the house on the market this week. Finally, I met them a week ago Thursday. We put the house on the market this week. We put it at Thursday at 4:00. I haven't checked it this morning, but 14 showings from scheduled. We put the house on the market at 4:00 on Thursday. By Friday morning, we had 14 showings scheduled for this house. So we'll see how that goes. Jennifer, Jason, thank you for giving me the opportunity to sell it. It's a beautiful home. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Loxahatchee. CBS construction, 2004, with a pool and a spa, and on 1.14 acres. And we got it listed at $585, under $600,000 for a pool home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, no HOA. if you're interested, give us a call on that one. Also wanted to give, and also I wanted to give a special shout out to Jennifer and Jason because we helped them buy that home in 2015.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really happy for them, and thank you for coming back to us. They said they wouldn't think of anybody else after their experience the last time, and they're very happy with 14 showings scheduled in 18 hours. They're pretty happy now. So,
I bet so
hopefully by Tuesday we'll be in contract. We also want to give a shout out to Juan and Saray. I just took their listing, I think, on Thursday. The house will probably be on the market early next week. They have a really beautifully upgraded 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage pool home in a gated community in Royal Palm Beach. We're asking with a really nice open floor plan, really large enclosed porch, and really great backyard. And we have that. We're putting that house. Right now it's coming soon, but we'll put it on the market next week at $675,000. I wanted to give a shout out to Bryce. Bryce is a longtime listener. He's had an investment property in West Palm for quite a while, and it's a 3-1. It's a very nice. It's an older home. I think it was built in the 1940s, wood frame, but it's in excellent condition, and it's got the Miami-Dade County wood floors, which I love. Right, I love those wood floors from Miami-Dade County. They're an extinct wood for people that don't know about Miami-Dade County floors or wood. And it's an extinct wood, and it kind of petrifies over time. And it's now so old that a lot of times carpenters would tell you that they can't nail through the wood. It's too hard. So they got to drill a hole first just so they can nail things into it. It's pretty cool. So the floor is really nicely polished and finished. It's in excellent condition. So we have that house, very affordable, 3-1 at $345,000. Wanted to give a shout out to Robert. I took his listing yesterday. It's a really nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage townhome in Jupiter. Great community, super low HOA, $400,000. Okay, and we have an open house, and I'm not going to talk about the open house yet because we're still waiting to see if the person's going to give us a call. Okay, and then and then we'll go on to that. So while we're waiting for the open house, I wanted to give you the
Let me ask you a quick question.
Sure,
real quick.
sure.
The homes you just spoke about, are the listings, can you see these on Florida Talk Real Estate Facebook page? Are they up yet?
2 of them are.
Two
of them are coming soon right now.
How about FloridaTalkRealEstate.com? Are they on featured properties?
I don't think they're on featured properties. We're going through some changes on the website. All the contact information is totally legit, but we're going to be putting in a more robust search engine, and then I'm going to be pushing the heck out of that website very soon.
Okay.
Where we're going to have what I'm hoping will be the most accurate search engine. And it's going to blow the doors off of all those.
Well, we've always promoted it as.
Yes,
so.
but now there's even a better one, and I'm checking it out. We're going to put it out there.
FloridaTalkRealEstate.com, your one-stop real estate shop.
Yes, and I would go to Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook page to check out these properties. And if you're catching these, it's like I don't have time for that. Just go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com, reach out to us, and we will get back to you immediately to tell you about these properties, because we've had a lot of people call on almost all these properties right now, and it's been pretty strong. So it's been pretty cool. Wanted to go into the so the fact that I picked up 5 listings, they were in 2 different counties. The price ranges were from a low of $340,000 up to $675,000. Looking at the county statistics that we're going to talk about later in the show, my properties are falling right in the middle range of what most people are putting their houses on the market for, like that range. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But I was also, with everything that's going on, and I'm talking to hundreds of people a month about what their real estate plans are for the next 6 months to a year. And man, it's been very, very interesting to talk to people about that, because everybody has such strong opinions. Everybody seems to have an opinion. It's almost like if you were, fanatical NFL fan and you just had opinions on every single team and every player. People have very strong opinions what they feel is happening in the real estate market. And, some of it, to be honest with you, most of it's not grounded in any kind of factual reality. It's just how they feel. It's their gut instincts. And then they try to find stuff that they can pick and choose from the news to justify what they have in their head.
Sure.
So one of the things we like to do on the show, good, bad, or indifferent, is tell you what's really happening in the real estate market. And there's times where we've told people it's not really a great market. It's a horrible market. If you don't have to do something, maybe you just hold tight. We don't have a problem telling people that.
Right.
We're more about giving education. But this market is a very different market. So I was wondering why these people chose right now to go ahead and sell. Right now, I'm not going to tell you which one is which person I just gave shout outs for. Okay. Because I don't want to give up personal information. But two of the people that are selling were investors, right, that own rental properties and they wanted to sell. And three people were regular sellers that were selling and then going to do something else afterwards, right? So one of the investors that's selling is feeling that the market is kind of tapped out. They know that there's still some growth going on, but they really think that the chances of a continued growth versus a slide back in prices, it's more likely to have a slide back in prices. And he's very happy with the money that he's made on the property up to this point. And he feels that the property has an okay roof and the AC's in good shape right now and it's younger, but the longer he holds it, he knows the roof and the AC are coming over
Sure.
time. So why not cash out now and get my money and then I can bankroll it and then I could either use it for other purposes or I could buy another investment property that is even better cash performing than the one he has now. So that's why that person is selling. The other investor, he's been wanting to sell this house for quite a while, but he had some legal problems with title and he had to get that cleared. And then as soon as he got it, he wants to sell the property so that he can take that money and use it for another purpose. He really would like to buy some property in another part of the state. We're going to try to help him with that.
Cool.
And he wants to use this money from this investment property he's had for a long time to go ahead and make that dream happen up in the north part of the state. So that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it is.
Now we have two regular people, if you will, not investors, or three regular people that are selling. And it was kind of interesting. Two of them are relocating, right? So one of them is leaving a job that they've had for a very long time in the public school system. And they told me that they're moving for two reasons. Number one, they don't like working in the school system anymore, partly is the reason. And number two is affordability for their family. So they felt that there might be other opportunities in other parts of the country. And they did a lot of research and they found a state. I'm not going to get into it until they close, but they found a state that they're very happy in. They got a job as a public school teacher in the state that they're going to be moving to. And they're actually going to be paid more money at the new school system than they're actually being paid down here. And down here, we're in the number one, if I'm not mistaken, Palm Beach County School District is still the number one most populated school district, I think east of the Mississippi or nationwide. I can't remember, but I think it's east of the Mississippi. And it's kind of sad for me, I'm just making a public comment here, to have our teachers leave our school system to go to another school system that's smaller. And
we're just going to jam in ex-military that have no teaching experience at all. We're just going to jam them right in. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. I guess I'm worried. So
it's going to be fine.
I hate to see them leave. We're losing good people here, but at the same time, I'm really happy to get them on to the next chapter of their life. I'm very excited. So we hope that's going to be coming soon. We have another couple that also just is moving out of the area. They felt like the property they bought here, they had pretty good equity, and their employer gave them an opportunity to move to a different part of the state to work in a different region of the state that they felt that was slower, more laid back, and more affordable than expensive South Florida. So it's time for him to go. So I took the listing yesterday. His moving truck was in the driveway. And this morning, he might be listening to the show right now, and he's driving up to his new area where he's going to live. And I'm going to go put the house on the market next week. And then the third reason, so we had job relocation, affordability, right? We had investors feeling that it was time to cash out or take the money and use it for another purpose, right? That they felt could be used for better purposes. And we have another person that just wants to change up their lifestyle. They're going to be selling their home because they're tired of living in a gated community and having the neighbors right on top of them. and they want a little land this time. So they felt it would be a good time. They bought their house with us a couple of years ago, and they can make pretty good equity on the house right now, considering they only bought it a couple of years ago, and it would be a great down payment for a new home. And most of these people are working with Mike. Even the person moving out of state is probably going to do a loan with Mike out in the new state where they're going to be buying their new home. We're helping a lot of these people with agents to place them with top agents like us at the Florida Home Pros with Keller Williams, and allowing them to get on with their lives and find top agents so they can get situated up there as fast as possible. So thank you, all of you guys, so much for trusting us with your home sales. I think I must have sent 10 buyers to Mike last week to get qualified for loans. So we'll see how many of those people can qualify.
Awesome.
With that new Live Local Act, the down payment assistance program. So I wanted to thank them for trusting us to try to see how we can get them situated in their first time home buying process.
And if any of this is hitting you just right, remember Florida Talk Real Estate is a .com. That is your one-stop real estate shop. You have access to the entire team. These are pros, experts in their field. And if you're new to the show, trust me, they work cohesively together. Pick up the phone, get answers that they're looking for, get all the details about how rough the road is going to be for this particular client, this particular customer. Remember FloridaTalkRealEstate.com, Facebook as well, YouTube, and that .com. Very valuable. Know it, use it, love it, and share it. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
Hey, while we're waiting to see if Mava's going to call us, I'm going to give her like 2 more minutes. Something interesting happened. So, you know, I've been living on Singer Island for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was this sailboat. I don't think she understands we're live. So I guess we're gonna. Okay, hold on. Let's do this.
What are we doing?
No, okay.
What are we doing?
I was going to take the phone
air,
call. I was going to take the phone call and give her junk, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh, don't be.
She just sent me a thing. I didn't realize the time. We're live radio, so that's not good. So, but anyway, there was a sailboat. There was a sailboat that crashed during a really bad storm about 3 months ago, and it crashed right in front of the condo that I'm in right now. And it had a really tall sail. I don't know much about boats. I think it's called a sloop or something. And the couple was from Venezuela, right? And they were traveling around the world or something in the boat. They got caught in the storm. They got crashed on the beach. Some of the neighbors in one of the condos nearby saw it in the middle of the night, went out there to see if they were okay. The people that went out to check them just happened to be Venezuelan.
Uh-huh.
So it was like national Venezuelans meeting American Venezuelans. So it was kind of cool. They took them in, for shelter, took all their stuff off the boat. And the boat's been sitting there ever since. It's been 3 months. Nobody's taken it away. It's moving from the shore, like with the drift from the tides. It's just moving up and down a couple, maybe 100 feet or so back and forth. And it's just there. I just think that's weird. Nobody.
They're responsible to get that removed. I don't think anybody's just going to come and do it.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I was thinking.
I don't think so.
And I looked up this process.
Did you?
Like a week ago?
Huh.
And there has to be like formal notices for that you have to give to the people in order for them to remove their boat. And then if they don't respond or something like that, then the government can remove the boat and they'll charge them for it. Or they'll charge them for it. And if they don't pay whatever it costs, then you can't like get a driver's license. You can't register a vehicle and stuff like that. So if they're foreign, they're just probably like, oh, I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah, that's exactly. They have no connections to the United States as far as we know. So they're off scot-free, but the boat's still sitting there. Nobody's doing anything about it. I just think that's weird. But then I was thinking,
but there is a timeline, evidently. So
yeah, there's some sort of process,
happen.
but
yeah.
Like I remember, I looked it up, and the big thing was like if you dodge it, then you can't register anything in Florida. So a lot of people, if they, whatever, they sink their boat or abandon their boat, then they'll just like flee the state.
Yeah, bye Florida.
Yeah,
that's so wild. And then I was thinking that answers one of the other questions. Like when you drive over the Blue Heron Bridge, on the south side of it, you see a lot of like sunken boats all in there. And I was wondering, why do they allow that to happen? Like, aren't they forced to move the boats? And now you're explaining probably what's going on.
I want to
with
say,
that.
like when I saw it, it can cost upward of like $30,000.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Who wants to spend that first, you know?
You know what you call that when your boat sinks in the marina or something like that? They call that a rich person problem.
Yeah.
I'm being mean to people that have boats, but that's a rich person.
You better be, evidently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the cost is mounting. Jeepers.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to give shout outs to everybody that's on our Facebook and YouTube channels real quick. Good morning, Elizabeth. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Mom. Hope everything's great. Good morning, Elaine. Hey, Paul. It's nice to see you over here again. And yeah, some of those houses that I just talked about are low priced. He was like, wow, that's low when we were talking about all those shout outs. And my buddy Doug out in Colorado, who checks in once in a while. Thanks for checking us out today. So we're going to go ahead into the open house. Mava Gachette is
You
one of.
want to do a reset and maybe get her on to
let me
get some
see.
details? You can connect with her
Yeah,
during
let's
the
go
break
ahead and take a break
yeah.
and let me call her.
There you go.
Okay,
Perfect.
that's a good idea.
We'll do a
Johnny.
4-minute reset. We'll come back, get some details on the open house, and we still got a bunch to get into on a Saturday. Great to have you with us every Saturday. 2 hours of infotainment is what we offer you. That's right. We'll get you until 11. Pass the baton off to the locker room here. Remember, Florida Talk Real Estate is a .com. It's your one-stop real estate shop. If you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, you're stuck with a home, you don't know what to do, maybe the property insurance is crushing you, and everything in between. Remember, FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We can help you navigate the really rough waters, get answers to things that you're looking for. And maybe you're just like, I just want to see my positioning. Do that. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We got a 4-minute reset. We come back. If you'd like to be a part of the program, 877-927-6969. You can dial it right now. Jimothy will line you up. We'll get to your phone call and details on that open house in just moments. Great to have you with us on a Saturday. Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
We'll be your friend. Follow us at Real Radio 92.1 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
From the Gordon and Partners Weather Center. Have you or a loved one been injured through no fault of your own? Call 561-333-3333 or go to fortheinjured.com.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins with CBS 12 News. Mostly sunny this afternoon with highs in the lower 80s and the chance for a stray shower. Then partly cloudy, mild tonight with a shower possible into Sunday morning. It'll be a warmer end to the holiday weekend with highs in the mid-80s and the chance for an afternoon shower and storm.
This report is sponsored by Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. You wouldn't drive a car under the influence, so why would you operate a boat? The FWC wants to remind you that operating a boat while impaired is just as deadly as driving a car and carries the same penalties. Be as safe at sea as you are on land. Visit myfwc.com for more info.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
Real Radio 92.1. We are an iHeart radio station. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
One more time, that's 877-927-6969. Toll free if you'd like to be a part of the show. Questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate. Want to get involved with the conversation? Don't be shy. Go ahead and dive right in. I'm your boy, Johnny C., Air Traffic Control. Timothy is our producer extraordinaire. Good morning, my brother.
Hello, and good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. How are you, Ross?
Doing well. Good to see everybody.
See you as well. Jimmy D is with us. That's our fearless leader. I've told you for over 11 years he runs a top-producing Keller Williams team. And that's the Keller Williams Innovations Florida Home Pros team you'll find. And you'll find Jimmy D, Jim DePola. How you be?
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. Happy Memorial Day, everybody, and happy South Florida. It's a little cloudy out today.
Is it?
Yeah, I think
was just
it's
out. It was nice.
Oh, was
It
it?
was nice, yeah.
I felt like, well, up on me, it looked very cloudy, so we'll see.
Yeah, I guess Florida, right?
Yes, and we're going to talk a little bit about weather later today when we start talking about hurricane season with Ross.
Ah, damn. Yes, it is that time. Florida Talk Real Estate is it.com, your one-stop real estate shop. Always remember it, know it, use it, love it, share it, especially when you need us and hurricane season is coming.
Yes, it is coming. I feel like winter is coming, which is what we're going to be talking a little bit about Games of Thrones philosophy in the economy too, which we're going to get to a little bit later today. So,
can I have a sword then?
Yeah, I know. We're going to need one maybe.
I didn't watch any Game of Thrones. Am I going to be able to follow along in this conversation?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You and I are the only two that haven't watched it.
Oh, have you heard of the thing called Winter is Coming? There's a thing. That's all you need to know about it. That's the only Game of Thrones part. The Winter Coming part.
Right. No dragons?
As long as you've heard of that, then you're okay.
No White Walkers?
No White Walkers or anything. Yeah. This is going to be very fun.
I like dragons. I like dragonese across you.
Yeah, nice. My favorite kind of dragon. Next is the fire breathing.
So we have a special guest on hold, a tardy guest.
Oh,
she was tardy.
I don't feel tardy.
Yeah. So remember that show? What did they call it? Don't Be Tardy for the Party or something? There was some housewives show called Don't Be Tardy for the Party or something.
No, I'm not a big Bravo guy. I don't know.
Well, our guest doesn't believe in that philosophy, so let's put her on here.
Oh, shamed on air.
Right there, too. What a way to intro. Who we got joining us, Jimmy D?
We've got Mava Gachette. Hey, Mava, how are you doing today?
Hey, Jim, I'm doing well.
Hi, Mava.
Hi, how are you all?
Oh, we're fantastic. Understand that you're out with an open house today, huh?
Yes, she's doing an open.
Yeah.
She's doing. I think this is your very first open house ever, right? Right, Mava? Am I correct about that?
It is. It's my very first open house, my very first talk on a live radio show. So I'm really excited and nervous all at the same time.
Me too.
Nobody's listening. It's just
yeah,
us.
nobody's listening. Who cares?
Us
Just
four.
don't worry about it. Just don't curse on the air. We'll be fine, right? Don't do that.
Okay, no worries.
We've been pretty good on that for 11 years.
Not
All
bad,
right, one
not
thing,
bad.
Jimmy doesn't have to do the dump much. So Mava is a brand new agent with Keller Williams. She worked in a couple other careers before this, and she just decided to just find out if real estate is going to be her future. She selected Keller Williams as her brokerage to start off with. I think, Mava, is because of the training, correct? Is that why you chose Keller Williams?
Somewhat.
Oh,
yes,
what
that
were the
has a lot to
reasons?
do with it.
What were some of the other reasons?
Well, I had a friend that actually went to Keller Williams as well, and she was making pretty good money. And I seen her picture on the billboard of a bus stop, and I was like, "Hey, I want to try Keller Williams." And she told me it was a great place to start. So here I am.
That's so awesome. And now she's on the radio. So your friend's like, "Hey, I want to be on the radio." I'm joking. So, yeah. So Mava now has decided that we're working together as partners, trying to grow her business and give her coaching and also give her opportunities to make money. So what she's going to be doing, her first thing for us is not actually her first thing, but because she's been with us a couple of weeks, but this is her first open house. I'm so excited for this one. It's 1417 West Hardy, Hardee, not DY, Hardy Street in Lantana. And I love this cute little home. It's probably about 1,200 square feet under air, and it's so fixed up, so nice. Mava, can you tell us a little bit of what you like about the house and some of the features?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first, let me just say thank you guys for having me on here. I truly appreciate everything that you all have done. And the house, it is gorgeous. So one of the things that I love the most when I first approached the home is the colors.
Yes.
The owner, we actually approached them at the same time when they just finished painting the home, and they actually painted each individual block by hand.
So it's a brick facade. It's a brick facade on the front of the house. It's a CBS home, but it has a brick facade.
I like that.
And they individually painted each individual brick, and then each of the grout lines they painted with a different brush, a different color.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it looks so nice. The colors they picked were so nice. I'm sorry, Mom, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Is this up on your is the pictures up on your website?
I was so busy this week, I didn't have a chance to do some of the uploading, so I apologize. But you could go to Facebook page at Florida Talk Real Estate Facebook page, and the little cute house with the blue brick facade is the one.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, another really good thing that I loved about the home is the landscaping. They have like a whole little garden in the backyard where you're able to actually sit on the porch and just see the garden right next to you. And then they have a large amount of space for the property. Not only do they have a carport for your cars to be parked in, but if you have a boat or maybe some jet skis or any type of things, maybe some four-wheelers, you have a whole space on the other side of the house that is actually secure, and you can park your entertainment items there. How great is that?
It's so awesome. They have the regular driveway, and then they poured us a longer driveway separate on the right side of the house. And right now they have a pretty decent sized boat. They've got a trailer in the back separate from the boat, and you could fit another car back there. So you could fit a boat, a car, and a trailer. The trailer's like one of those enclosed landscaping trailers that you see.
Sure.
So it's a decent sized trailer. We're not talking like a little thing.
But you could slip a big bus size RV.
You could put
down
an
there,
RV in there,
yeah,
right? And it's
yeah.
behind the fence, so it should be okay with code and everything.
That's great.
Another thing I love about this house, Mava, is the location. It's 2.6 miles to the beach, right? So it's really, really nice for that. And it's less than a half mile to 95 exit at Hypoluxa Road.
Yes.
So if you need to commute down to Broward or you got to go up to West Palm, it isn't a big commute to get to 95 in order to get where you're going.
Nice.
Really nice feature on that. And the neighborhood, oh my gosh, Mava, when I was over there, the neighbors were so friendly. Everybody came up because you don't always get that. But this neighborhood, 3 of the neighbors came up, wanted to just stop and chat and say hello, and not suspiciously, with real smiles on their face, want to know what's going on. No drama, just like happy people.
Well, that's good. And they care about their neighborhood. So they just kind of want to be involved in what's going on. I think that's fantastic.
And I want to give a little congratulations to Mava, even though I was giving her junk for being late today. So, you're going to have to get used to that with me, Mava. But I was so impressed with her. Of course, we do all the social media advertising. We have a 21-day plan on how to get the house sold, right? So we start from day one once we take the listing, and we have a 21-day plan to get the house sold, and most of them do get sold in that 21 days, even in today's market.
Sure.
And one of the things that I love that Mava did, she went out and got some flyers that Nancy, our office manager, had worked on with Mike Rao from the mortgage firm to talk about financing for this. And she took the initiative not just to go to neighbors, but also went to some of the storefronts that are close by to this property and asked the owners if she could put the flyers, in their storefront window and stuff. And I was thinking, wow, what a great extra effort from an agent going out there, really trying to get the house sold for the seller.
Sure.
And that's the kind of things that we do that make us different than everybody else. We don't just shove the for sale sign in the yard, put it on the MLS, and then just wait for the phone to ring. No, you don't do that. That isn't how you sell a house.
That's not how it's done.
No.
Do
You might as well
mind if
just
I
go.
chime in real quick?
I'm sorry.
Do you mind if I chime in real quick?
Yes, of course.
So I was really scared and nervous to even approach any of these owners and managers because sometimes people don't really see the benefit of what you're doing. However, out of the 8 places that I went, 5 of them allowed me to put up my flyers, and I got a lead from that. So I think it was a really good opportunity, and I'm so looking forward to doing that to the many other neighborhoods because that's a really good networking aspect, and I liked it. I really did.
Yes, it's really nice. And we forgot to mention the price on this house. So it's very affordable. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Lantana, 2.6 miles to the beach. It's really nicely, freshly updated inside the house too. It's got recessed lighting. This is a 1950s house, but it has recessed lighting, and it's got new fans everywhere. It's been freshly painted inside and out. Appliances work great. Everything's in great condition. It's turnkey ready. And the average home in Palm Beach County, as of the April report, which we're going to talk about later today, is $585,000.
Oh.
This 3-bedroom, 2-bath is only $450,000. So, and the house is turnkey ready. You're not going to have to go in there. It's like, oh, I got to rip out the kitchen, or I got to do this or do that. Move in, enjoy. And then if you want to update things, if you feel like updating things later, you could do it over time. It isn't like, oh, I got to do it before I move in. So really great opportunity. Now, how long are you going to be out there, Mava, today?
I'm going to be there between 11 and 2 o'clock.
Okay, 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Mava from Keller Williams Realty and our team, Florida Home Pros, will be doing the open house out there. Go by, stop by, say hello, check out this house, see if it's for you. Even if it isn't for you, talk to Mava about your buyer's needs, and she will see if she can find properties that meet your needs. I'm sure Mava's done her research because our team always does this. She already probably has a list of other types of properties in that price range that are also available for sale in case that particular house is not your cup of tea. Although in that price range, this is a very good value.
It sounds like
in the county, in the whole county, it's a good value.
Yep.
So go out and check that out. And Mava, thank you so much for doing this today. And please don't forget to call the owners, Tom and Denise, when you're done, to give them an update, to let them know what's going on. And don't forget to put it in our contact management system when you're done too. Okay.
Absolutely. Sure will. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I'm so excited.
Yes. And let me just end with this. Do me a favor, Mava. Sell that house.
There it is. Sell it, Mava.
That is the goal. I'm not leaving until I do.
All right.
Love
All right.
it. Love it. Thank you so much.
It's great having you on the air. Good luck out there. 11 to 2 with Mava today. It's 1417 West Hardy Street in Lantana. Nice 1,200 square foot. $450,000. You said move-in ready.
3-bedroom,
turnkey. Here we
2-bath.
go. 2.5 miles from the beach, about a half mile from 95. It sounds like something you want to go check out with Mava today. 11 to 2 on Florida Talk Real Estate's Facebook page. The details.
Yes. And 11 to 2. And I forgot what I was going to say.
That's all right.
Anyway, sorry. But yes, 11 to 2. Go out there, 1417 West Hardy Street. That's what I was going to say. 1417 West Hardy Street in Lantana. Hardy is Hardee. Okay, so
Like the
go check
restaurant.
it out.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
I
Carl's
wanted
Jr.
to, I wanted to shoot. I'm in the process of shooting a little video, not just for this house, but
In the process of?
and yeah, I'm
Hey,
not done. Yeah. So we're doing a promotion for this house, but we're also trying to teach people that don't live here, like in New York or Connecticut, New Jersey, those kind of places where we know tons of people are moving down here. We're trying to use the houses as a showcase of the area so that people could know what it's like living in Lantana.
Nice.
So I was doing some research on it. How far back do you think the history with Europeans, not Seminoles, because you know Seminoles go back hundreds and hundreds of years, of course. So I'm not trying to be, let's take political correctness out of it, but from the Europeans' perspective, okay, like history books, how far back do you think the history goes in Lantana? Because, like, for example, like Delray, and Delray was 1885 when it was founded. Boynton was 1895. When do you think of Lantana?
1865.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it was incorporated in 1921, but 1842, we had a military camp down in Lantana fighting the Seminole Wars when the Seminole Wars were going on in 1842. So Lantana's been populated, with at least military camps since 1982. I thought that was kind of interesting, right? And it was incorporated in 1921. There's only 12,000 residents in there in the city of Lantana, according to the Census Bureau. And I wanted to do some things about where you could go eat and stuff like that. And one of the places I picked was Riggins Crab House. It's been around forever. All you can eat seafood, really good food. If you like seafood, it's pretty good. And then I was like, I really like the food at Riggins, but I like the atmosphere at this other restaurant. So I went down to Ocean Avenue, where there's an intercoastal restaurant there that everybody knows. And I went down there and I wanted to have a little meal while I was taking a break. And I figured, I'll shoot a little atmosphere stuff for this restaurant. Well, the manager, I should have asked for forgiveness and not permission. I went up to the store manager because I had a little gimbal on my phone. And I'm like, hey, do you mind if I just shoot some little environmental shots? I'm doing a story about cool spots in the city of Lantana. I want to showcase your restaurant, but I don't have to interview anybody. I'm not going to get anybody on screen. I'm not going to record anybody. The guy said no. He doesn't want any publicity. And I'm like, really? And then a few minutes later, Rob Van Winkle walks in, right? So Vanilla Ice walks in.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
And I was thinking, oh man, I should go over there and ask him if he wants to come on the show, because I was thinking it would be really cool to have him on the show to talk about the downtown project he's doing right now, where he's building a bar, a rooftop restaurant, a beer bar, and then some kind of historical museum on something. I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be. I think it's 80s music or something. And I thought it would be, and it's going to be in the downtown area, and it's supposed to be pretty hot. So I thought it would be great to have him on air. But then I was worried that if I went over and introduced myself, the store manager was going to be mad that I was there trying to shoot the video stuff. And then I was going to, and if Mr. Winkle didn't like me interrupting his meeting, that I was going to get yelled at and kicked out of the restaurant. And I said, I'll just pass. So, Rob, if you're listening to the show, I want to have you on the show to talk about that project. If you want to talk about it, I'd love to do that.
Well, he's heavily involved in real estate too. He had his own show.
Yeah,
a while, right?
I think he still has it.
I
I'm
don't know.
pretty sure he still has that show. I've watched it a lot of time. I've watched it a lot. It's fun watching houses being rebuilt in the area that I go show houses in all the time. He's done some stuff in Wellington and Versailles. He's done some stuff up in Hobe Sound and Stewart that was really cool. So he travels around the area and he just flips houses down here. He does on TV. It looks like really good product.
Yeah.
It looks like he does pretty good job with everything. So anyway, let me see. Where are we now?
Well, I can tell everybody we got Florida Talk Real Estate as a .com, your one-stop real estate shop. Know it, use it, love it, and share it. Also find Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook and YouTube. We live stream every Saturday when we're on the radio for 2 hours of infotainment. But if you got questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate, you want to dive into the conversation we're about to get into, remember 877-927-6969. That's toll free. You can be a part of the program, be on the radio with us. Of course, if you're not comfortable on the radio, go to floridatalkrealestate.com. You got the contact information, including the hotline, 888-973-7828 at floridatalkrealestate.com.
We're going to talk a lot about the economy today, but at the after the 10 o'clock break, we're going to spend a whole half hour just on insurance, and we're going to talk about everything insurance. But we're going to talk a little slice about the economy now, and then after the insurance, we're going to talk in more depth. But I wanted to put this out here because there's a very interesting stuff going on around right now, and I want to just throw it out there and see what you guys think, because to me, it's very interesting about the economy. When the Fed raised the rates the last time, the 10th time, it was either the 10th or 11th time in a row, and he raised it a quarter point. He also came out with a statement that he does every time that the Fed meets and said, I made a promise that we were going to basically, don't take this for a minute. Yeah, Jerome Powell. He said, the Fed Reserve Chairman, he said, I told everybody about a year ago that I thought because inflation was so high, we're at 9%. We needed to get down to 2%. So my plan was to raise the rates till we got to about 5.25% if needed. And then we would probably stop. And then everybody was betting based on that we would start seeing rate decreases past this summer. Like after summer, we would start seeing the decreases going down. Everybody was predicting that at the beginning of the year.
Really?
Yes. At the beginning of the year, that's what everybody was saying. All the national economists, yeah, the Fed's going to get it up to 5.25. Inflation will be reduced down to the rate we need. And then they're going to start backing off, right? Which is so, I agree with you, Johnny, which is
That's
so
hilarious.
Crazy. So, but he did say when he hit the 5.25 this last time, we don't have a number in mind anymore. It's all going to be based on the data only, right? Well, we're at about double the inflation rate that he wants to get to. It gets very confusing because I read so many reports, so many articles and reports on this. There's core inflation, there's CPI, then there's core inflation plus cars and energy, right? There's like all this stuff, right? And if you go through the smoke, this is what happened. Inflation got up to 9.1. We're at roughly 4.6 to 4.9 now, is what they're saying. And then, but the Fed's interpretation of inflation, we're only at 4.2.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think anybody in real world agrees with that.
So he thinks that it's only 4.2. So he thinks the actual core inflation is actually a little lower than what everybody else is reporting, but we're still double to where we need to be. We're at 4.2. He wants to be at 2. Okay. So so I was thinking that he's going to back off the pedal. And he also said in that report that it usually takes a year for some of these rate increases to ripple through fully to the economy. So he didn't want to raise it too high because some of the stuff that he did 6 months ago hasn't even really taken full effect yet. So he wanted to slow down and see what kind of mess he created and if it was enough to get the inflation down, right? But then we had a report come out yesterday or the day before yesterday where consumer spending is up again.
Oh, yeah.
Right. We're spending like crazy.
But we've said that the whole time. Americans will not stop spending money they don't have. Stop it.
For the first time, inflation has not reduced month over month for the first time in like 10 months. The inflation spiked up a little bit. It was very nominal, but it was still a spike up.
But it's a 4 in the first number?
Yes.
Versus
it only went up point. Yes.
Versus an 8 when we started.
Yes.
Yeah.
But still, they wanted to get it to 2. So going up a little bit up is not where you want to go.
Right.
And so then.
But spending doesn't help.
Right.
The more we spend, we're fighting the inflationary aspect. Like we're actually fighting the effects that the Fed's
exactly, because he doesn't want us spending.
So
that's the whole point.
That's the point.
Right. That's why he's trying to crush us.
Right.
And so what's happening now is, so everybody thought he was going to back off the pedal. Then we had this interest rate. I mean, the consumer reports didn't, the inflation rate and the CPI and stuff didn't come in really the way that they were hoping. Then to make things more complicated because of the debt ceiling crisis we're in, and those bozos up in Washington and Congress, because they're all bozos as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, sir.
They can't get along enough in order to pay our bills, right? So then Zillow comes out with this report, right?
Zillow.
Now, Zillow's economists came out and they said they hire a whole bunch of economists to dive deep into the data all the time. I'm not saying I agree with them all the time, but this is what they said.
Yeah, probably the one source we don't turn to for the most accurate information, but it might be valuable in this situation.
Apparently national economists and people that decide what stocks to buy and sell, do listen to this stuff. Okay, even though I don't listen to it all the time. So what Zillow's report said was that if the debt ceiling isn't taken care of before we default, and they believe that inflation is going to continue to get stronger anyway, so the Fed is going to have to, whether he wants to or not, the Fed is going to have to continue raising these rates. And if we have the debt ceiling problem too, and it's not solved before it becomes a problem, it'll be too late. You'll open up the Pandora's box, and they're predicting, now check this out, interest rates can get up to 8 to 10%, mortgage interest rates for houses, 8 to 10%. And that unemployment can jack up as high as 8%. We're at 3.4 right now, which is the lowest since 1953. So 8% is not healthy. 4.5% is like the sweet spot for unemployment. You want to have about 4.5% unemployment because it gives enough fluidity in the market, and it doesn't screw up employers' budget for payroll at that kind of unemployment rate. But now we're chronically under that. So there is a theory. And then when I was talking to my brokers in my office, we got to get Dan on the show. He told, he mentioned, Dan DeMott, right? So he told our leadership council that National Keller Williams is thinking that the Zillow thing might be real, and that they're saying that the summer is it. And after the summer, things are going to kind of go pretty slow at that point. And, you know, there's a lot of sellers out there that aren't selling right now because they think it's such a bad market. But, you know,
is that why, or are they trying to hang on to their 4% interest rate?
That gets us into something we're going to talk about later. That is one of the factors. But to me, the bigger factor is it isn't losing the interest rate. They're afraid that if they do buy something with the higher interest rate right now, that the house is going to be priced too high, and then they're going to be stuck with a higher interest rate. Then the house value is going to go down after they buy it, right? Because they're expecting that to happen. And then they're going to have a high interest rate with a high price with a house that lost value.
Well, that's the interesting part. So there's an expectation of a collapse. Why?
Yes.
I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. I hear people talking about it. To me, it's just going to be a slowdown of appreciation, like a really dramatic slowdown of appreciation. And maybe in some pockets, real estate, you've told us for over 11 years, is neighborhood to neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
There may be some neighborhoods where they see some depreciation. It may be possible, but I think collectively, nationwide, statewide, countywide, for the most part, if we're talking Palm Beach County, I think we'll get back into that maybe 2-3% appreciation, maybe versus 4, definitely versus 13.
Well,
right?
You mentioned 13. Dorothy Jack's office from the Palm Beach County Property Appraiser, she just had a reset, increase in values, and it came out to about 13% for Palm Beach County.
It did.
13% increase year over year for assessed values.
That's not going to continue.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you get that slowdown of appreciation, people view it as losing value in their home. And it's like, it's just not the real world.
We're going to go over real math about that after we talk about insurance. But what I want to wrap up with on this little tiny piece of it is that if those prognosticators are right, that after the summer, things are going to really change dramatically. If you're thinking of selling or buying, the time is now. And look, we put a house on the market 28 hours ago or whatever, 30 hours ago. We have 15 showings on it. One of the other properties we put on the same day, it only has 2 showings right now, but we already have 2 offers sitting in the inbox, right? So people are making offers. People are showing houses and looking at houses. There are buyers out there that want to buy, right? And as long as your house isn't crazy priced, as long as it's comparative for value and size and condition to all the other houses in the neighborhood, there's no reason why you can't get the same amount or a little bit more if you hire us as everybody else in the neighborhood, and you're getting top value for the neighborhood at that time, right? And there's another thing that you could do. A lot of these people are getting huge down payments on their next home. And that's what they didn't have when most of people that I'm experienced with didn't have huge down payments when they bought the home they're selling. They had small down payments. Now they could have 10 times, 15 times more than the down payment they put down originally. And if they do that, maybe 10 times. Yeah, 10 times. Okay. Maybe not 15, but 10 times more, right? You could actually put down 8 times more than what you put down on your last house, buy a bigger house, and then take some of that equity and buy down your interest rate. And let's say that it's 6.5 right now, and you buy it down to 5.5 or 5.25, which is not a bad interest rate historically. And you're taking some of your equity to get a better interest rate than what's on the market right now, and still putting a huge down payment on your new home, which would protect you from the vagaries of the market that might be coming in the future, right? So there's a lot of ways that you could help yourself in this economy to make things work. It can happen. So if you're thinking, I'm not sure I want to do it, but I kind of know I want to sell in the next year or two, you really got to think that maybe is now the time to see what that would look like and check your numbers now.
That's it. You got to know your numbers, know what's going on. Get with Jim, get with Mike Rao, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Know your numbers, know what is possible. And if things change, what things look like, you can get that real world scenario. Hey, what if interest rates go up a 0.5 point? What does it look like? Mike can give you those numbers. Here's what you can afford now. Here's what you can afford there. Here's, you got to know your numbers. Go to floridatalkrealestate.com. Get informed. An informed decision is the best decision. Get all the information you can and make the best decision for you and yours. floridatalkrealestate.com, your one-stop real estate shop. Want to do a little reset?
Yes, thank you. And just before we go, Johnny, happy Memorial Day to Francis and Joyce, Johnny's mom. They always check in all the time. Thank you guys for checking in. Love you guys.
Yeah, happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody. And as we go out, a quick reminder, yes, you're going to have some gatherings with friends and family, and you may go out and take advantage of some sales this weekend. Yes, Memorial Day sales. There's a reason for the holiday. Please reserve some time to remember the reason. And our armed forces all give some, but some give absolutely all. And that's what this holiday is about. It's about remembering those that gave the ultimate sacrifice so we can have a holiday, we can have the freedoms we enjoy. And if you can, please reserve some time. If you can go out and help set up flags and really, really soak up the reason, man, that'll make you feel all the feels. There's no doubt about that. But take a little bit of time, remember the reason, send some love to all the families that have gone through it. All the families serve too.
Yes,
have them in your heart as well, because they sacrifice, they go through the loss as well. But remember the reason, take a little bit of time, and if you really appreciate all that has been given, cling to all of your freedoms with both hands and all your feet. Cling to them, y'all. It's Florida Talk Real Estate. We're back in 4 minutes. Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
Think we're just in your car? Think again. Anytime, anywhere. Tell your smart device to play Real Radio 92.1 on iHeartRadio.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, Not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
From the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys Studios.
Have you been in an accident? Call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Real Radio 92.1 is WZZR West Palm Beach, an iHeartRadio station.
Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Yeah, and if you dial that number, 877-927-6969, our producer extraordinaire, Jimothy, will line you up. Jimothy, how are you, my friend?
Doing very well. Johnny, how are you today?
I'm awesome. Thank you for asking. Thanks for being with us on a Saturday. Johnny C, yeah, that's me. Your air traffic control. I got Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach, hanging out with us in studio. How are you, Ross?
I'm doing well. Good to see everybody.
Always good to see you as well. And remember, you can see Ross. You can see the whole crew. We stream live on a Saturday, not only on the radio. Not only do we go on the iHeartRadio app, making us worldwide, but we go live stream on Florida Talk Real Estate's Facebook page and Florida Talk Real Estate LLC on YouTube. Streaming on both. Great to have you with us. Thank you for choosing your entry point. Our fearless leader is always here, my guy Jimmy D. That's Jim DePola. I've told you for over 11 years he runs a top-producing Keller Williams team. Keller Williams Innovations. You find the Florida Home Pros team and my guy Jimmy D. Jim DePola, how you be?
Hey, Johnny, very, very good. Thank you so much. Happy South Florida and happy Memorial Day.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, we got a lot to talk about, so we're going to roll right in with Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach, the only one that matters. Juno Beach, Juno. And we're going to start off with the question because, man, this stuff dealing with homeowners insurance and roofs and everything right now, it's just such a crazy thing. You don't know how many realtors, Ross, I'm talking to that are having deals die or struggling to get them to close because of the regulations with roofs right now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's tough out there.
It's really tough. So let me ask you let me give you a real life example on a property that I'm working on so that you can give me some advice and for people to understand what's going on. So first, let's start off with the foundational stuff. Before about a month and a half ago, I'm guessing, when did they make those changes to the useful life? About 2 months ago, right? Let's just say.
Yeah, I think so. Probably 2 months ago.
It might have been passed earlier, but it had to go into effect. But a couple of months ago, if you had
it was May 1st.
May 1st. Okay. So if you use Citizens Insurance, which most of the people in South Florida now are using for their homeowners insurance, if your house needed to do a 4-point inspection, a full 4-point inspection, which at that time, Ross, was how many years did your house have to be?
When it's 20 years.
20 years or older. So if your house was 20 years or older, you would have to do a 4-point inspection, which is basically checking for your electrical, your HVAC, your plumbing, the structure of the property, and the openings of the coverings of the property, correct?
So the 4-point is electrical, AC, plumbing, and roof.
Okay. And then as part of the roof, they have to do a thing called a roof certification or a useful life of the roof. And there was a requirement with Citizens, which was much more lax compared to other insurance companies, that Citizens, you had to have at least 3 years useful life. Now, private companies, sometimes they didn't want to take roofs that had only 3 years useful life, correct, Ross?
It was more the age of the roof where the carriers wouldn't accept it, but Citizens would accept any age as long as it had 3 years of useful
that
life.
makes it, that's a better way to describe it. Thank you. See, that's why he's the, that's why he's Hot Ross. So, okay. So yeah. So the other companies were more concerned about the age of the roof. So in order to get homeowners insurance, Citizens says, we'll take your old roof, but you have to do a check on it, an inspection, and you have to have at least 3 years useful life left on the roof, and we'll go ahead and take it. Well, now the regulations are, they moved it starting May 1st to 5 years useful life, not 3. And they're kind of rolling it in so it isn't such a shock. So the 5 years requirement is only for new sales, not new construction, but when you buy or sell a house. And renewals are okay right now at the 3 years, but then I think it's going to be July or something. And in July, all houses have to have at least a 5 years useful life, or Citizens will not insure you. So that's the foundation. Okay. So with my customer I have now, they have a house that's 19 years old. It was built in 2003. I don't know what month, but it was built, 2004, but I don't know what month. So it was 2004. We don't have any proof that the roof had been replaced at any time and the owners didn't live there the whole time the house was there. But we don't believe that the roof has been replaced. So that would make the roof 19 years old in a couple of months, probably. So do they have to go through a 4-point, and do they do the 5-year useful life, or they don't have to worry about anything? Like, what happens with that kind of case?
Because it's less than 20 years old, you don't have to provide anything.
So Citizens will just take it as it is, as long as it isn't leaking or something like that.
Right. I mean, yes. We don't have to provide any documentation to Citizens if it's less than 20 years old that shows the remaining useful life.
They'll just take it. Okay.
But then the next year, basically, they'll be like, hey, we want to see useful life.
Yes.
It could be. Yeah. I mean,
well, it'll be 20 years at that point.
Right.
So then that new law would kick in, the new regulation would kick in, right?
Right. And I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen anything what's happening as far as those renewals go yet.
Yeah, because it's too new, right? We're in the process. And that's another.
I think it's once it gets past 25 is if they don't have any updates, I think that's when they might start
That's when they have to
asking
do it. And do you mind if I share, Jimothy, a little bit about your experience right now?
Feel free. Absolutely.
Jimothy's exploring right now a lot of different options in order to buy a home. And one of the things that we were talking about off air is how homeowners insurance is really impacting decisions that you guys want to make for budget purposes and the type of home you're buying.
Absolutely.
And what have you found out new construction versus resale using Mike, the mortgage firm, Mike Rao's mortgage app, and talking to Ross, and then talking to the new construction people and learning about resale? What did you find difference in your mortgage payment?
Well, that was the big thing, right? So the difference in homeowners insurance is going to give us an extra about $200 a month that we can go towards the mortgage versus homeowners insurance. So that's obviously a big chunk of change.
Yeah. And that gives you more purchase power.
Yeah. And also I used like a sample house that is on the market, and Ross was nice enough to give me an estimate. So again, it gave me a great idea of what a homeowner's policy would be on new construction. And it's, like I said, it's about $200 less a month.
Yeah.
Versus an existing home with an existing roof that has been around for a while. So that gives us a bigger ability to go with new construction.
So Ross,
just wrap your head around that. That's a $2,400 a year.
Yes,
difference.
Yeah. So,
that's what my insurance was before things went crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So Ross, I wanted to ask you about that. If let's say I had a 1995 CBS home. Okay. I went ahead and I put on a brand new roof, a high quality roof, like one of the metal roofs that lasts a long time that, everybody recognizes as a high quality, long lasting roof. I restrapped the house. I put in, I know you don't have to put every opening has some kind of Miami-Dade County code protection on it, right? All the openings are done. The electrical panel's good. The plumbing's great. I don't have any polybutylene pipes. I don't have any issues. And it's the same exact size and square footage and everything else as Jimothy's brand new home, right? Now, my home has a brand new roof. It's restrapped to full code. Jimmy's got the brand new house that meets all code. Am I not going to get the same insurance policy as his probably, even though that effectively my house is kind of new? Do you know what I mean? All the important stuff has been taken care of. I'm still going to pay significantly higher than that new construction home, correct?
Yeah, I mean it'll be higher than if it was 100% new construction. But just very quickly, I was a 1990. No, I think it's 1987 in 33410, which is Palm Beach Gardens. Brand new roof, 680 in dwelling coverage, was about 15 grand. Brand new roof, but it's 1987.
15,000 a year.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh my God.
15,000 a year, and you put the brand new roof on.
Brand new roof, 2021 roof.
Right, 1987.
Mhm.
But if you went to Citizens, it would be much lower, right?
Citizens was the same.
Citizens was 15,000 a year.
Mhm.
Holy moly!
Holy
This
moly
is
is right.
This
Yeah.
is going. This subject is going to.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it's just
Wow.
It is. It's just wow.
So I know you
Right.
can't give me an exact number, but what do you think that policy would have been 2 years ago?
7?
Yeah, I was going to say
Less than half?
6
Yeah,
or 7.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
It's just this is
That
going to
seems
become.
ridiculous.
Oh,
too.
and there was a-
gosh. It does.
And,
Even
well,
the
I mean,
7
because
seems-
here's the thing: there's like 3 carriers that are going to offer coverage on it.
Right.
You
but
know,
you're,
it's
and you're
just because
you're at
there's
680,000. So
Uh-huh.
it's, it's a,
Citizens will do it.
it's a
So
nice-
Citizens will do it because
they'll
it's less
fit it.
than 7.
Yep.
But Citizens was like 16 grand there, 15 and 16 grand too. It was the same price.
Yeah.
So, we had a different carrier that's going to be, give you a little bit different,
A little bit different.
extra coverage and things like that. So we went that route, but
But yeah. So
it was the same price as Citizens, but you're getting a little bit better coverage.
yeah. So they're using the same calculators. I mean, essentially, right? I mean, jeez.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
This is definitely going to be, unless we have a storm come in, right? A Wilma or a Katrina, something like that. If we don't, we talked about all the jinxie stuff I did on last show when you were gone, and I said I'm doing this because you're gone. So I try not to talk about too much because you get freaked out.
Don't put it out there.
But assuming we don't have anything different, the insurance market in Florida is a crisis at this point, as far as I'm concerned. It's blocking people from buying homes. It's blocking people from selling homes. I just don't know how this is going to be fixed, and I'm
Well,
trying
remember,
to find.
Jim, remember, with the lack of litigation that is in our future, right? We should be paying less.
Hopefully,
that's the
I'm
plan, right?
I'm still not
the
sure.
plan.
Yeah, the thing that gets me nervous about that is that lawyers wrote this law because something like 85% of our state legislators now are lawyers, okay? And it's lawyers basically controlling lawyers, and I think that they put in stuff that lawyers are going to loophole. And I don't know, I might be wrong, but I just think that that's what's going to happen. And I don't think that we're going to get the full results that everybody's looking for. And I don't know if there's any easy answers too. There might not be any easy answers.
I don't believe it either, but I am filled with hope.
Me too. I got my fingers crossed, and I want it to be a success. And I'll be the first cheerleader if it all starts coming together, because we need
the
it.
numbers that Ross has shared with us over
Yes.
the years about how much is spent fighting these fraudulent claims if that's the cause and effect, we eliminate that, we should get in a better place. I mean, it should be cause and effect, right?
Yeah. And we
the
live
plan.
in a very precarious area.
Well, too, we also kind of are a very instant gratification society.
Oh, yeah.
So we feel that as soon as that law gets passed, everything should just go back to normal.
Instant.
But it's going to take a little bit for the carriers to, realize
Absolutely.
like, oh, did this work?
Right.
Are we not having to, settle all these huge lawsuits and pay out all this money so that we don't have to litigate? So it's going to take a, couple years for them to.
And they're probably going to have to tweak it. And then when they tweak it.
But the numbers now, right? The numbers now are based on replacement cost if something happens to your home now. It's not based on like necessarily money they've had to spend. I don't see how that changes. Like our property values are going to stay in place. The replacement costs are only going to keep going up because let's face it, everything just keeps getting more expensive. So I'm not quite sure where the reprieve comes, but I see the opening there because if the companies aren't having to spend all this extra money just to fight fraudulent claims, I can see the opening, but there's still a real need for the monies that they're asking for, because if something happens to your home, it costs more to put it back the way it was than it did when they built it. So,
but that that gets factored into the premium for the dwelling amount. But I think what we're trying to reduce is a $20,000 roof costing the insurance company $60,000 because of the attorney's fees.
Amen.
So that's what we're trying to reduce, and
so, everybody has to be for that, and
But Ross is in it every day. Do you think we see it in a couple of years? We start to see a little bit of relief.
I hope so. The day before that the law went into effect, it was something like 80,000 or 100,000 lawsuits.
Oh yeah,
filed.
all those claims.
They threw them right at the wall.
And that's what I wanted to ask, which was, are those cases still in the system? They have to work their way out of the system before we start seeing any type of an effect from the law.
Yeah. So I mean, it's gonna take a couple of years for that to shake out.
Okay.
It's like the pipeline is full, but there's not new stuff coming into the pipeline, or not as much.
I mean, so I can tell you that it's not. We're not seeing a reprieve of anything. Things are getting worse. Like I had a carrier that, a few months ago, 6 months ago, was 40 years and newer, as long as it had like a newer roof, blah, blah, blah. Like a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, they switched to 2019 and newer.
It's just getting worse. Yeah, it's getting harder at least.
Yes. Yeah. And, we go back to that 5 years of useful life thing. A lot of the carriers will, Hey, the roof for new business, if the roof is over this age, we'll take it, but we need a roof certification to show that there's at least 5 years of useful life, right? I got a 2005 house on Jupiter Island that I've been insuring for a while. He's being non-renewed, paying like $7,000. I had one carrier come back, and it was going to be like 15 or 16, big jump, but that's what we had. I got a roof certification. Had 22 years of useful life left. But I guess, I don't know, they had to reseal an area on the roof or something like that. Carrier denied it.
Oh, my goodness.
So, but 22 years left on the roof.
22 years of useful life left on the roof. And they don't like it because it looked like there was some repairs made.
Wow.
Gosh.
It's just
these are real world examples. I mean, this is like in our neighborhood.
This is happening right now.
Of every day, yeah.
And when you're going to buy, you really got to understand this stuff. And like what Jimothy's doing, he's actually just checking out. Like, if I were to buy a house like this, what would I be expecting? Just so you could set your budget and stuff. And it is shocking right now.
So it's always been a part of the process for the Florida Talk Real Estate team. It always has, because all of this is part of your cost for the monthly obligation to be a homeowner. But now it is a significant part of your process.
One of the things that Johnny preaches and Jim preaches and Mike preaches is know your numbers. Yeah. Well, you need to know that number. That's a big number. It's not, oh, okay, well, it's just a little bit to factor in. No, it's a lot of bit to factor in.
Yeah. And what you kind of, I guess I never really thought this way, but I think you do now. And I don't know when you can stop, but you almost have to add a few more $100 on, I think, because there's a chance that could go up. So if you push right up to your budget limit of what you can afford,
And then your insurance goes up
man,
2 years
I think
later.
the odds are good your insurance is going to go up.
Oh, yeah.
Right? At least right now.
Yeah.
So don't be very careful if you're pushing all the way to the ends of your extremes in your budget.
But make sure you're using the right numbers, because there's plenty of times like I'll do a quote, send it to them. Mortgage company has it. They've had it for 3 weeks. Then they ask us to bind it. We bind it. And they go, oh, this doesn't work. We need to cut that in half. There ain't no cutting in half. And you've had this for 3 weeks.
Here's what we do. We insure you for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you got to make sure whoever you're working with is using the correct numbers, because, I mean, it's not like we sprung this on you at the last second. Like, you asked us for a quote, we sent it to you, you said you wanted it, and to go ahead and bind it. Now you're coming back to us afterwards saying, sorry, we can't use this. It's out of their DTI. It's like, what numbers were you using then when we gave you the quote?
Jeepers.
And that's another thing. That's another reason why we always like using local people for the mortgage. Of course, Mike Rao from the mortgage firm, he's local, right? And he's a direct lender. So he gets answers directly from the underwriter down the hallway in the building.
Go face to face with the underwriter. Yes.
Hey, Cindy, I got a question about Johnny's file. And she's like, oh, yeah, how can I help you? Not like, can you give me the loan number, please?
Right. Well, and what's really nice is he can explain some nuance, maybe some crazy situations, and walk them through it a little bit versus them reading an email or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's so important. And if you go out to those other national companies, I don't want to start naming them, but you guys know what they are, right? And you go to those national companies, they don't know what's going on with our insurance stuff down here. So what you have to understand is when a mortgage company, broker, whoever it is, they're going to look at your debt to income ratio. They're going to look at your credit score. They're going to look at your income. But once they know that you can qualify for a loan, they have to decide how much property taxes and insurance are going to be for a house that you haven't selected yet most of the time to give you an approval letter. So they got to estimate it. Well, if you're living in Minnesota and you're the mortgage person and you don't know anything about Florida really, other than it's another state that you do mortgages in, and you don't know about the peculiarities of what's going on down here, and even the zones, because different parts of Florida are different, right? We're in the ground zero zone, right? Miami-Dade, Palm Beach,
Tri-County.
Also on the west coast of Florida, like Naples and over there, that's a pretty high zone, right? I'm assuming. But if you're in the central Florida, it isn't as bad over there. If you're in
if you're in Orlando, that area, because that's a very fraud heavy place too. So their carriers are pretty wary there as well.
Right. But if you were in like Lakeland or,
right, yeah.
And you're in like the really small pockets in the north central Florida, you're not getting, this isn't as big of a deal to those people. Right. So if you don't know those numbers and your mortgage broker doesn't know those numbers, you're off. And then your numbers are off, and then you're shopping around for the wrong house. And then you find out, like Ross's example, 3 weeks into the contract and you're ready to close. Hey, this insurance policy doesn't work for me.
This is like a week before closing.
Right.
Like
but you gave it to them for weeks.
Yeah, weeks.
Before.
They've had it.
Right.
And then, they're closing in 10 days and saying, okay, hey, we need this bound. And then we bind it. And then 2 days, the next day they're saying, hey, this is too expensive.
This feels like a really, really good opportunity for me to remind everybody that you need to work with people that are great at what they do. There's lots of people that are good at what they do. Great is another place. Go to floridatalkrealestate.com. This is Pros, your one-stop real estate shop where you have everybody on the phone working together. Because the end game, what we're trying to accomplish is you closing and feeling good about getting your keys. In the scenario Ross is talking about, where they're days away from closing, finding out, well, this isn't going to work. That's not how it's done. It's not done that way with the Florida Talk Real Estate team. Go to floridatalkrealestate.com. Know it, use it, love it, share it. It's floridatalkrealestate.com.
You really do need a team of professionals to help you in this market, because it is a very crazy market. One of the things that we're specialized in, one of the things I was excited about when we were doing the shout outs, one of the houses, they've got a mortgage with FHA financing that's way under 4%. And we're going to try to sell that mortgage as part of the house.
Nice.
So half of the mortgage would be at, let's say, 375, and the other half of the mortgage would be at today's current interest rates. I haven't had a chance to sit down with Mike, but I'm thinking that's like a $500 to $600 a month savings on the mortgage payment.
Wow.
And all you have to do is assume the loan that's already there. And here's the other thing that's awesome about that. So let's say the 360 is owed right now. Let's say they had that loan for 8 years, okay? And they're down to 360. You're taking it over on the 20 with 22 years left. You're not getting a 30-year mortgage for that assumable mortgage. You're getting the 22 years left on the 30 mortgage that was already situated.
Yeah,
so that's
assuming
pretty
it, you just
cool.
kinda
Isn't that
slide
cool?
right in on it. It's
yeah,
really
which
cool.
means that you're paying less interest because the family paid the longer you own the loan, it's more interest, less principal. And as it gets older, it becomes more principal, less interest. So the first 8 years, a great majority of it is interest payments and little principal. So they've taken some of that out. So there's a really good opportunity there for somebody to come in. So we're hoping that somebody buys the FHA mortgage with the property.
Great.
Yeah.
A wonderful opportunity.
So, and that's the thing about having a team with multiple disciplines in it and making sure that we understand everything for all our customers. Think about how much of an edge we're giving our sellers by giving people the opportunity to buy the mortgage at a lower rate.
Sure.
Most people don't even know you can do that, right? Most people don't know you could use FHA and VA and sell the mortgage with the house.
Do you put that in the listing? Is that
Yes,
in the
we're
listing?
starting to
Yeah.
advertise. Thank you. We're starting to advertise on social media. Like all the houses we're putting out, we say, and on top of it, we put in this house qualifies for the Live Local Act, where you can get 5% of the loan value back to pay for your closing costs and down payment. That's why we have so many buyers going in there right now with the Live Local Act.
And just another example of man, you got to know everything that's available for everyone. In the Live Local Act, there's a ton of realtors out there right now that just don't even know how to approach it, don't even know exists, how to get their people to it. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com does.
Yes, and Mava Gachette, who's doing our open house today at 1417 West Hardy Street in Lantana from 11 to 2. That's 1417 West Hardy Street in Lantana. Mava was just talking to me recently that she was talking to she was in a training session where they started talking about the Live Local Act, where you can get 5% of the loan value back to pay for your down payment and closing costs in any profession, as long as you're a full-time employee in Florida, that you haven't owned a house for 3 years or been entitled to a house for 3 years, and you could qualify for FHA, VA, or conventional, you get the 5%. It's going to be that simple, right? And Mava, when she was in a class full of agents, she said more than half the agents didn't even know about this program.
I believe it.
Right? So you got to, we use the programs that work for people. I want to get back. We're going to just plow right through if you don't mind. Is that okay? Do you mind if you want the 10:30 break?
You need it? We can, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I saw your face.
Well, there's so you talk about technical
Corporate.
problems. We're having some technical problems.
Okay,
too.
no problem.
I can't adjust the station up north.
Okay. Do you want to take the break now, or you want to wait?
If you want,
okay,
yeah.
we're going to go ahead and take the break now. On the flip side, we're going to talk about flood insurance and condos. And then we're going to roll right into the market because there's some interesting stuff that happened this month. Very interesting.
All right, excellent. Florida Talk Real Estate is .com. It's your one-stop real estate shop. You got the hotline there as well. You can call it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's 888-973-7828. Access to pros. These are absolute gems, and you get them all. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We're back in 4 minutes. Florida Talk Real Estate right here, Real Radio.
The visual aid you need for all the freaky stuff we talk about on the radio. Find it at realradio921.com.
From the Gordon and Partners Weather Center. Have you or a loved one been injured through no fault of your own? Call 561-333-3333 or go to fortheinjured.com.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins with CBS 12 News. Mostly sunny this afternoon with highs in the lower 80s and the chance for a stray shower. Then partly cloudy, mild tonight with a shower possible into Sunday morning. It'll be a warmer end to the holiday weekend with highs in the mid-80s and the chance for an afternoon shower and storm.
This report is sponsored by Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. You wouldn't drive a car under the influence, so why would you operate a boat? The FWC wants to remind you that operating a boat while impaired is just as deadly as driving a car and carries the same penalties. Be as safe at sea as you are on land. Visit myfwc.com for more info.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. they're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Yeah, 877-927-6969. Still got about 20 minutes left for you on a Saturday. If you'd like to jump in, got a question, comment, concern, don't be shy. Jimothy will take that call and we'll get you on the air. I'm your boy, Johnny C. Jimothy is our producer extraordinaire. Hello, my friend.
Hello, and good morning, gentlemen.
And Jimothy's going to stick around. We got Greek and Joe. We're going to pass the baton to them here in about 20 minutes. They're going to squeeze out a sports show. Locker room coming up for you. Of course, we're going to get you there. Johnny C is me. Ross Komarinetz is with us. Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach is where you find them. And in the studio on a Saturday with us. Nice to have you, as always, Ross.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I want to say go Heat.
Go Heaters.
We, my right-hand man, Rodolfo, was out in Vegas last week. And just before he left, I think the Heat to win was like plus 1,700. And then when he got there, it was 1,300. So I had him put a little money on there for us. So yeah. So we're, in the office, nice. We all split it. So we're all pulling for the Heat right now.
To win the East?
No, to win it all.
Win it all.
Yeah.
Go Heaters.
That's right.
Nice. Can wrap it up tonight if I'm not mistaken.
I hope so.
8:30
down here.
I actually might watch this one. Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. And the Panthers.
How about the Cats? Yeah.
I haven't watched one game, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead. Yeah, the Cats are just on a tear. Remember, this Florida Panther team, let me get the introduction out of the way. Jimmy D,
Sorry.
our fearless leader. He runs a top-producing Keller Williams team. Keller Williams Innovations, the Florida Home Pros team. Jimmy D, how you be?
Thank you. I'm doing good, Johnny.
So that Panther team, they won the President's Cup last year. That means they were the best team in hockey and then fell very flat in the playoffs. You come back this year, they knocked off the best team in hockey history.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
The Bruins were the best team in 100 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was kind of rooting for them to win it all because no one will remember that if you lose in the playoffs. If they stamp it, you're like, that's the best team ever. Panthers beat them.
Wow.
They beat them. They beat the best team in hockey history.
And not only did they beat them, they were down 3-1 in
Yes,
that series.
that's right.
And they came back and won 3 in a row.
And have just found a tremendous groove and are playing out of their minds right now. So go Panthers.
Yeah.
1996 feels like a long time ago.
I'm going to kill
It's
the
'cause
party.
it is.
I'm going to kill the party right now. So I'm so happy for the Heat. I hope they continue. It's awesome about the Panthers. And I'm really hoping that the Dolphins are going to do really well this year. This is where Johnny's not going to like it because he's a Dallas guy. But I'm really excited about the Dolphins this year. I really like the people that they picked up and everything. And
This has been building
it's
for
gonna
a
be-
number of years now.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of Jared's CPA clients is over there now. Chosen.
Chosen?
Yeah, Chosen is one of Jared's CPA
Oh,
clients.
I got what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, Chosen Anderson, right? That's what they call him now, right? Isn't he called Chosen now? It
I
was
think so.
Robbie.
Yes.
Yeah, it was all these different names. But anyway, Jared's the accountant. Jared from Perry CPA Group is also the accountant for that guy. So I'm going to see how he does in the rookie mini camp and
Awesome.
everything. See if he makes the team. It'll be pretty cool.
I don't know how accurate this is, but I thought I read or heard that if you were to put $25 on the Heat and the Panthers to win at the beginning of the year, it was worth like $100,000.
Wow.
I believe it.
I believe it. Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah, nobody was giving the Heaters a shot. The Heat had to. So the Panthers needed the Penguins to lose like their last 3 games and the Panthers to win to just get in.
Yeah, they backdoored it.
So the Panthers are actually the lowest rated playoff team to ever make the Stanley Cup final. Lowest rated ever. They shouldn't have even been in the playoffs. And remember, the Heat had to play 2 playing games to get the 8 seed to have to go beat the Bucks when nobody gave them a chance. And it's just phenomenal to see both these teams. If you get going at the right time, you can catch lightning in a bottle. I hope that they finish the deal.
Yeah, it'll be really exciting. And if it's already exciting right now in South Florida, we're so lucky to have 2 great teams like doing great right now. But if the Dolphins pick up the baton, after those seasons and then start taking it, it's going to be a really nice year. It's kind of reminds me when Ross, remember, and Ross and Johnny, you remember this? Remember all during the 90s and a good part of or a good part of the late 80s, I think through most of the 90s, it was always FSU, Miami, and UF. They're always in the top 10, if not in the top 5 best teams in the nation. It was so much for me fun watching college football back then because I'm kind of crazy. I just like Florida teams winning. So like if let's say I was like in FSU that year, because whatever, right? Well, if they got pushed out and Miami was doing good, I was all happy that Miami was going forward. I just want to see one of the Florida teams make it all the way. So I'm a little psycho compared to you guys because you guys are more like into your teams. Yeah. And I went to UF. I went to UF and I'm not even like a super ultra got to be UF all the time guy. I want the UF to do well, but if they don't do so well that year and Miami's picking it up, go Miami. Right? Go UM.
The Canes never win another game.
I think it was for like
kidding.
Then I think it was for like 10 years. The road to the national championship went through Tallahassee. Like we either played in it or you had to beat us.
Yeah, in order to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. So we'll see how it's going. We got Pokey Wilson over at where did he land? I think he landed in Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say Baltimore.
Undrafted?
Yeah, the
Nice.
draft pick, Pokey from FSU, and he's with Renegade Sports Entertainment.
Yes, he is.
Paul Aloisi's Sports and Entertainment Group. So I want to go into flood insurance, Ross. So about a month ago, we were talking about changes to flood insurance. And one of the regulations I think they were saying was even if your condo has flood insurance, that as a owner of a unit, you had to have a separate flood insurance policy for your unit. Was that correct? Am I saying that right?
So part of the regulations that were passed were that if you have a citizens policy that includes wind
Mm-hmm.
and you are in a high risk flood zone, then you have to have flood insurance. So that's single family, condo, everything. You had to have flood insurance. And Citizens said, well, if the building has a master policy, then you just need to insure for the contents. So you don't have to get any dwelling coverage on the flood insurance. You just need to have the contents to match the citizens' contents policy. And it just doesn't make sense. You're on the 7th story of a condo. What do you need flood insurance for? If we have a flood, we got bigger problems, on the 7th story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so they...
Start building the ark.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they just
That's
made
called
a
Armageddon.
change to that requirement. So you're not going to be required to have flood insurance on the condos anymore.
That is a big relief because I felt that was another thing that was really going to affect the market itself for people to be. I felt like if that happened and they enforced it, there were going to be a lot of people fleeing the condos. And then,
well, flood insurance isn't super expensive, especially if you're not in a flood zone, right?
Well, I mean, it wasn't that expensive on the condos anyway, because the coverage is very small. Typically, on a single family house, you're gonna have $250,000 in dwelling coverage, and then whatever your contents are. So on a condo, typically your dwelling coverage is only 50 to 80,000. And then your contents are usually pretty low. So the policies weren't expensive, but it was just a stupid requirement.
Nonsensical.
Yeah.
I thought it would be expensive too, because you were in the flood zone, because I felt like we've always been told that if you're in the flood zone, it's pretty expensive. But if you're not in the flood zone and you get a flood insurance policy, which we highly recommend usually, it isn't as expensive, and it's worthwhile doing.
Yeah. And I mean, over the last probably 8 months, they made some changes. I want to say in October, but the flood insurance hasn't been that crazy. And then when it's on the condo, it's not terribly, it's not like an extra $2,000 or anything like that. It was pretty cheap, but it was just an annoying requirement.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I know you're on the penthouse, but hey, you got to have flood insurance. All right.
And the mandatory fixes from, I always forget, is it Surfside? I always say the wrong city.
I think you're right.
Surfside, yeah.
We're talking about the collapse.
Yeah,
so tragic.
Champlain or something like that. Champlain Towers. I can't remember what the name of it was.
Sounds right.
But yeah, so when that building collapsed, they put in a lot of requirements in the county level and state level to make sure that the buildings are strong. And I'm in one of the buildings that they're updating right now with the jackhammering and the scaffolding everywhere.
Oh boy.
And all the buildings all around us, there's so many that are going through that. And it's very expensive for the homeowners, most of the times the condo owners, because the assessments can get pretty high.
Well, those are special assessments.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people like in those buildings that they're, so a lot of people think, oh, you live in an oceanfront condo, you must be super wealthy. But a lot of the people that live there have been living there 25 years, 20, 25 years, where the condos weren't that expensive when they moved in. But now their condo association fees, because of the building restructure and everything, the condo I'm renting right now, but the condo I'm in, they pay $800 a month for $1,100 a month for the condo fee. Okay, then the taxes are about $900 a month for the unit.
Oh my
right?
God.
Then they have an assessment to deal with the building, right? On top of all those fees, right?
That's just
for
their
the structure.
normal fees.
That's
now
their
we got an
normal.
assessment to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking between that and the flood insurance, it's like a lot of people are just going to say, you know what? Maybe I don't want to live on the water anymore. Maybe it's time to go, And I thought, wow, that would be really interesting, because I think if a lot of people leave the oceanfront condos for affordability purposes, there'll be even fewer people willing to come in and buy those units, because they're going to be thinking, Well, is my condo fee going to go from $1,100 a month to $1,800 a month, and I'm still going to have a $40,000 assessment on top of it? It's like, how am I going to be able to control my costs?
Yeah.
So we'll see what's happening with that. It'll be very interesting. So with the flood, they kind of came back to their common senses as saying, if you're on the 7th floor of a condo, you don't need content flood insurance.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So that's cool. So that is
while we're talking flood, I've been reading more and more that Citizens in particular is going to start having a forced flood.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
thought we were talking specifically condos.
Well, I was just saying
it was
that,
one of the regulations in that pack.
Yeah, that was part of it. Is like if you have a Citizens policy that includes wind and you're in a high risk flood zone, whether it's single family or condo, you had to get flood insurance.
Right.
But the condo that's a silly requirement.
It is.
It was just in my head, they just said, oh, you're in a wind zone. We have, you have wind, you're in a high risk flood zone, you have to have it. It's like, no, but think about it for a second, like you're on the 7th floor. What
are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
And so they did away with that, the requirement for condos.
All right. So I'm sorry for not fully following along. I thought we were only focusing on condos. So it is a real thing that we're going to have this. What's the timeline on it where you're going to have
it's new. It's right now for new business.
Because I'm not there yet. They haven't said like, hey, you got to get your flood insurance.
Right. Well, I mean, because you're not in a high risk flood zone.
Gotcha.
So, and that's the thing too, is like most people that are buying a home or who live in a home now already have a mortgage. So if they're in a high risk flood zone, they're pretty much already required to have flood insurance. So it's not like a huge requirement, but it was a silly requirement for condos, because if you're getting a mortgage on a condo, the mortgage company doesn't require you to have flood insurance as long as the condo association has a master policy on the building.
Right.
So it was just a silly requirement for Citizens to make you do it when there's, you're not going to use it, and the mortgage company isn't requiring it. It was a silly requirement.
It kind of just blanketed it looks like, and then they went, oh, you're right. That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is there still a requirement on the first floor of a condo?
No.
Okay. So they took it off for everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap up the show with the April market reports that just came out. We'll talk a little bit about more next week, but I wanted just to stick with Palm Beach County today. Remember I told you a couple weeks ago, it's like, are we in a good market or bad market? And my answer to always is pick your reality. It depends. Pick your reality. So I was using this example, and then today, for the first time, and I don't know how long, the numbers have changed, and this is a great example to show what I meant. Okay, so last month in March's single-family home sales in Palm Beach County, the average home or the median home sale was $575,000. Okay, now that was like something like a 6% increase year over year. So when the media talked about that report, the monthly report, they said, hey, prices have risen. Prices continue to rise. We're 6.3% above the median average from the year before. And that's true. It's factually correct. Okay. But also is factually correct is the point I've been trying to make for years and years and years about why the media's values are not how you should decide to either value your home or decide if you're going to sell your home at that moment. You need to have more recent information than a year ago when you're selling your house today,
right? Because
things change so quickly. So the peak, while we were 6.3% March 2023 over March 2022 at 575,000. July of 2022 is the peak, and the highest median home sale we've had ever in the history of Palm Beach County was in July 2022, and that was 620,000. So what is the and that's factual too,
right?
So what is the truth? Are we 6.3% year over year, or did we lose about 10% or 8%, right? Or did we lose 8% from July? They're both right,
yes, they are.
Right? They're both right. So pick your reality. Well, this is the first time this has happened in so long. That's why I want to squeeze this in today. Single family homes in Palm Beach County. By the way, we had lighter sales than last month. Last month, we were starting to get back to normal. We slid back to abnormal now. Median sales price in Palm Beach County. Last month, we were at 575. What do you think we are at this month?
580.
Okay. What do you think, Russ?
567.
585. So we went up from last month, but year over year, we're down 2.7%. Okay. So this is the first time I've seen, we do this every single month now for how long? 11 years?
Yeah.
This is like one of the first months I've ever seen since we went through the crash of 2005, 2006. When we started the show in 2012, we were seeing negative equity month over month once in a while. But this is the first time since 2014 I've ever seen negative equity as far as I can remember, right? Compared to year over year.
Well, wait a minute. Is that fair to say?
What do you mean by that?
Equity.
Well,
so we're talking about the medium sale.
Well,
not
it's the
equity in
price.
the homes.
Well, that's true. But that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay. But the higher the price, the more equity you have. Because you already own the house. This is assuming you own the house already, right?
Okay.
So if you own the house and your mortgage is set and you have a certain amount of principal that you're paying down and the house price goes up, you still have the same amount of principal you're paying. So the equity increases. That's what I'm saying, equity.
Sure.
But you have a good point. Johnny's learning better. Johnny, man, you're doing good. Been doing this 11 years, you learned something here or there. So thank you for correcting me. But here's a couple of things I wanted to show you. So monthly prices over the last year. This is kind of interesting. So we're at 585 for April. Last month, we were at 575. In February, we were at 549. In January, we're at 582.
Huh.
December, we were at 545. November of last year, we're at 565. In October, we were at 570. I'm doing this for a purpose. In September of last year, we were at 565. In July, we were at 600. June was 620. I apologize. It was June, not July. So 585 is the highest median sales price since July 2022. And everybody's saying we're in a bad market.
Well, that's crazy. So July 2022, what were our interest rates?
That's why July 22 was the high point, because right after
like
that,
4%, right?
June was the high. And then July we went to 7.08%. And then the prices, that's why we're seeing.
We're like strong 6 something right now, and we're at 585.
Yeah.
Huh.
We're at 6.59% right now. 6.57% right now. That came out Freddie Mac report last Thursday, and we're still at 585. So all the people saying, I'm waiting for the crash, I'm waiting for the crash. In March, we had 14 short sales and foreclosures sold out of 1,500 homes. This month, we had 8 foreclosures and short sales sold out of 1,200 homes. We are not in a bad market right now to sell. And buyers, they're squeezed, but you can find your house if you have a good agent.
Yeah, and you can get some money too.
And you can get money from the state. Give us a call. Live local. Live local.
Live local. Well, you got to live local, and that's really the only way to do it. And you got to go to people that are great at what they do when you're trying to have big things in your life, like buying a home, selling a home. Maybe you're really, really buried underneath some issues with your home. Go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. These are pros. It's the one-stop real estate shop for a reason, because you get access to an amazing team that works cohesively together. Know it, use it, love it, and share it. It's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Great to have you with us every Saturday. Ross, I hope you have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you. I hope everybody else does too. And remember the reason.
It's Ross Komarinetz, Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach, and Jimmy D with our Florida Home Pros team, Keller Williams Innovations. I hope you have an excellent Memorial Day weekend as well.
Thank you. And thank you, Mike, for commenting on my Magnum PI shirt.
Look at all.
Another person just said something. Yeah.
Johnny's Higgins.
Timothy, good luck with the locker room. I know you guys are going to crush it. Have an awesome Memorial Day weekend, my friend.
You as well, Johnny. Jim, thank you so much. Ross, have a great weekend as well.
And have a blast. Be safe out there. Do enjoy your time with your friends and family. But as Ross said, remember the reason. Set some time aside to remember why we have a Memorial Day weekend. When it comes to our armed forces, all give some give all. And that's what it's all about. Remembering those that gave absolutely everything so we can be in the greatest country in the country, as my man Greek would say. Speaking of Greek, he's coming up with Joe and Jimothy. Locker Room's next. We'll see you next Saturday. Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
When the smart speaker you gave your